opening over here. Hello everyone, this is Moonlight. I'm today's host at our OKX Web3 Twitter space, and we are very happy to inviting lots of amazing guest speakers from the Web3 space. We're going to talk about Zeta chain ecosystem, and we wanted to share our views on why do we think Zeta chain is promising. And of course, we would like to friendly remind of our audience and our guest speakers. Our guest speakers over here are invited solely for topic discussions. Our team, our host, OKX Web3, we do not provide any financial advices, and everyone be sure to do your own research. Thank you. And over here, I see Dennis over here. Hi, Dennis, would you like to check your mic? Thank you.
Hey, how are you doing?
Great. Awesome. Now just waiting for Brendan, but that's okay. Let's start our Twitter space over here. And we wanted to once again appreciate all of our guest speakers who spending your time with us during this very busy Friday. Let's starting from your very first guest speaker on our list over here to introduce yourself and your role at your project. So first would be my phone goes to Dennis. He had a developer experience from Zeta chain. Thank you.
Yeah, so I lead developer experience at Zeta Chain. I'm focusing primarily on developer tooling, documentation, and tutorials, making sure that it's easy for developers to get up and running with building dApps on Zeta Chain as quick and easy as possible. Yeah, happy to be here.
Welcome, Dennis. And next, we would like to invite Jonathan, the person behind our Zeta chain official Twitter handle, also head of community at Zeta chain. Would you like to introduce yourself and your role at Zeta chain? Thank you.
Sure, and thank you, Moonlight, for hosting. So this is Jonathan speaking. Started the Zeta Chain community pretty early on in its inception, about 2 years ago, and we're 1.5 million people globally, and also get to work with really innovative companies like the ones on this call who are building for cross-chain. So get to wear a lot of hats. Thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And I also see Brandon over here. His Twitter handle is true, TRU. So Yamamito, if you could help us to invite him up to say that'll be great. And next we are going to go to Alex. He's the founder at ZKME. Hi, Alex. Would you like to briefly introduce yourself and your project to us? Thank you.
Yes. Thanks so much for having us, Moonlight and the OKX team. Alex from ZKME, founder. ZKME is an identity oracle bringing trustless omni-chain self-sovereign identity to crypto, allowing dApps to verify their users' service eligibility without compromising on decentralization and privacy. Super happy, super stoked to be here, and thanks for having us.
Wow, this is amazing. Thank you. And next we also have Ringen. If I pronounce your name wrongly, please be sure to correct me. And he's the co-founder at Addy Finance. Could you please introduce yourself to us? Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Moonlight, for inviting us, and thanks to the OKX team. So I'm the co-founder of Addy Finance, and we are the first omni-chain DEX that's built on top of Zeta chain. So basically, what we do is enable you to natively move across chains, and we have swaps across BTC and EVM ecosystems. We just launched like last week for our waitlist, and have seen like good, tremendous growth already with about 100K people who are interested in trying the alpha version.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And we will also like to friendly remind everyone in our Twitter space over here, including our guest speakers and audience, please help us to share today's event link and our Twitter space link from your personal Twitter handle or to other social media platforms, so more people can join us, because this is a great opportunity that we are all here to learn more about Zeta chain ecosystem. And next, we would like to invite Jimmy, the co-founder of Audiverse, to introduce yourself and your project to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Moonlight. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here and happy to meet all these good old friends. This is Jimbo. I'm the co-founder of Audiverse. And Altiverse is primarily a gaming metaverse platform that draws its power from Meta5, where we see Meta5 as a combination of GameFi and SocialFi. In our ecosystem, we are leveraging on-chain games, DApps, and a comprehensive media matrix, and all of which are being developed in a close collaboration with our communities. So our vision is to create a world that paralyzed to oysters from the movie Ready Player One. We currently have approximately 1.5 million audience across the whole ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And next, we would like to present the microphone to Henny, the co-founder at Seek, to introduce yourself and the project to us. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's an honor to be here with Zeta Chain team, with OKX, Altiverse, Zekimi, and Eddie Finance, and everybody who is listening. This is Hani, the co-founder of DSIC. We're building a pioneering blockchain-agnostic multi-sig solution. It's built for seamless interaction with all the apps across EVM and non-EVM chains. It empowers DAO owners, project co-founders, and treasury managers with state-of-the-art security through MPC, TSS, and ZK technologies. We're actually right now we're live on 13 blockchains, including Zeta Chain, and we're just so happy to be here to share with you guys.
That is fantastic, and thank you so much for being here as well, Honey. And next, we're going to circle back. Our microphone goes to Brandon. We have a product from Zeta Chain. Would you like to introduce yourself and your role at Zeta Chain? Thank you.
Sure, and yeah, thank you for circling back. I'm Brandon. I lead product at Zeta Chain. So kind of how Zeta Chain interfaces with the world, whether that's to developers, to end users, like through our marketing side or our Zeta Labs product, and then also for validators, so validator ecosystem. And I joined pretty early on with the founder of Zeta Chain about 2 years ago, and yeah, really excited to be here and to welcome a lot of our very exciting builders today. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Wow, and at this moment, we have over 200 audience listening to us right now at our Twitter space. Thank you so much for joining us. And friends, we already pinned today's event banner on the top of this Twitter space. Be sure to help us to like, retweet, take 3 friends so more people could join us, and also help us to follow our guest speakers and their projects because they are amazing. And we are going to start our AMA session now. And to our guest speakers, starting from our second part, which is our panel discussions, we're going to go for popcorn styles, which means when you are ready to share, just feel free to flash your mic or open your mic and share your insights. So there's no any orders starting from now. And the first question over here in our second part is, why do your projects build on Zeta Chain? Which project would like to go first? Thank you. And as for the Zeta Chain team, you could also feel free to share why you want it. Why other projects should build on Zeta Chain. Feel free to share that as well. Thank you.
I can. I guess I'll start from the Zeta Chain side, and then we can actually hear from the 4 innovative apps building on Zeta Chain and actually using the development platform. Like culturally, when I talk to developers, I get the sense that a lot of new L1s and L2s are popping up, and they have nuances and scalability and other technical stuff, but it generally seems like there's a lack of innovation, and particularly there's this attitude of chains that are trying to draw as much liquidity and users into their ecosystem, and it's not the most friendly environment, with the exception of some examples like Cosmos and stuff. So the blockchain space is very tribal in nature, and for developers, there's a lot of legwork in having to deploy and maintain smart contracts on multiple chains, and that translates to a pretty fragmented end user experience. And so this concept of being able to deploy an app in one place such that it has built-in interoperability with connected networks on Zeta Chain and in a way that doesn't wrap or lock tokens is a pretty huge win for developers. So I think technically the value prop is strong. And then again, culturally, Zeta Chain's designed to treat every ecosystem as like an equal participant. And I think that's resonating with developers and users in Web3. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. And yes, please, Alex.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Moonlight. Like I couldn't have done it, like I couldn't have put it better in words. For us, as an identity solution, the possibility of giving our users the ability to manage their identities or the on-chain representation as a Soban token from one single place in all of the different ecosystems they might be active in is absolutely a game changer. Like every other DID solution on the market has fallen for this tribalism, for these identity silos, where you own something, but you only own it on a single chain, and you don't have any capability of taking benefit of all of your credentials from one single place. So Zeta Chain allows us to have centralized identity, but then delegate them into all different ecosystems without any trust assumption. And that is super, super powerful.
That is great. Thank you so much for sharing, Alex. And I would also like to circle back to our guest speaker, Ringgit from Addy Finance, because I saw you open your mic. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Moonlight. So basically, one of the key reasons what we were trying to solve for was basically unlocking the DeFi space for a lot of BTC holders who've been like dormant and cut off from the whole DeFi ecosystem. And the only ways they had was to go through wrapped assets. And we were looking for a solution that could connect, let's say, non-EVM chains. And we, through our research, came across Zeta Chain. And the solutions sort of was very profound in a couple of sense, right? One was it was able to connect, let's say, BTC to the EVM ecosystem, and moreover, the whole logic and whole would be consolidated at a single point. So there wasn't any need to sync states, and this would eventually, for us also as a solution, help us deal with only native assets and also sort of bring a higher end of security while reducing gas costs, as the messages could be just sent simply instead of like having contract calls that are quite complicated. Moreover, it's like very made our experience very simple because we don't need to deploy at 10 different places, and all of that together led us to build on Zeta Chain.
Got it. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. And let's also keep asking, how about Henny and Jimmy? Would you also like to share your thoughts? Why does your project decide to build on Zeta Chain? Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, well, Altiver's vision is deeply intertwined with the principle of cross-chain and multi-chain capability. We believe these are essential for ensuring this what we call seamless interaction and interoperability across different networks, especially for players. So that we believe partnering with Zeta Chain will definitely amplify this vision and accelerate our journey.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jimmy. And Henny, would you like to share your thoughts as well? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, for every ideas that everybody already mentioned, for DSIC, we also feel that Zeta Chain's cross-chain interoperability fits with DSIC's multi-chain functionality, because as a multi-chain, multi-sig solution, we have multiple chains participating in the same wallet, but we have no way to let user communicate between those chains. But with Zeta Chain's technology, we can do that. The ability to deploy smart contracts that communicate with all chains of Zeta Chain can help DSIC to leverage that. We can build omni-chain smart contracts, we can do cross-chain message passing, and one very important thing that I personally felt throughout all the time that I've been working with multiple chains is that the Zeta chain teams is very active in supporting ecosystem projects. They are very committed to helping builders to from technical problems to marketing problems to everything that we need, introducing to new D apps, etc. So we just feel a very friendly vibe. It's kind of different from other type of chains, and we really appreciate that.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. And from my personal experience collaborating with Zeta Chen, I also feel like they have very strong support in terms of co-marketing. And this is really much appreciated. Yeah, as smaller scale projects who are also building on Zeta Chen, this is a much needed support that provided by the large project. And thank you. So also here we will like to double check if Dennis or Brandon would like to share from developer or products viewpoint to talk about why projects should build on Zeta Chain. If you would like to share, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, a short answer is like, why wouldn't you? If you're a project looking to build on top of EVM, Zeta Chain offers EVM compatibility, but what you get is also like these superpowers essentially for your smart contract to be able to be called from any connected chain, to be able to manage assets from any chain and move them between blockchains. Like that's super powerful, and this functionality is going to grow over time. So this is, and also the way I see it is Zeta Chain kind of combines the power of interoperability between non-EVM blockchains, chains like Bitcoin, with kind of the power of Cosmos being a very fast and reliable independent blockchain.
Thank you so much, Dennis. And Brandon, yes, I see you also open your mic, please.
Yeah, echoing a lot of what has already been said, but I think when you look at what you can build very quickly on Zeta Chain, it just gets really exciting because you could take, as Dennis said, something on EVM and deploy it onto Zeta Chain and have it essentially be cross-chain with very little work involved beyond that. And another nicety is that as Zeta Chain expands, especially to these quote unquote exotic chains like Bitcoin and Satoshi coins or other things that aren't as commonly integrated with the broader DeFi ecosystem, you unlock a lot of users and liquidity for your application and potentially more use cases that are not possible before. And for the Bitcoin case, it's a lot of Bitcoin users have no idea how to activate their Bitcoin into the broader DeFi ecosystem. But now you can offer that in a one-step experience. And if you're deploying on Zeta Chain, it in some ways future-proofs your application because as Zeta Chain adds support for different chains, your app can interface with those chains and assets in the exact same way as it already does. So both backwards and forwards compatibility is something I think can benefit a lot of developers who are trying to build something that does last into the future and isn't relying on some central party to continue adding different chain support. It kind of can all work under the blanket security and interoperability of Zeta Chain, which I think is really exciting for if you're looking at it from a development perspective.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And it's great that we could hear from both sides, right? Zeta Chain themselves and also other projects who are building on the chain. And the third question will actually be a little similar to what we just discussed about what unique features of Zeta Chain attract you. And maybe, Jonathan, would you like to first sharing us with some insights about what are some of the unique features that we could only find it on Zeta Chain but not other ecosystems? Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Well, I'll echo what Brandon said about um, the Omnichain smart contract. So because Zeta Chain is EVM compatible, you can basically deploy any time-tested Ethereum dApp on Zeta Chain with minimal code change, and it effectively becomes natively cross-chain. I think you'll hear more from Eddy Finance, which is basically a multi-chain curve. So there's that. And then I think one of the more underappreciated things that I personally overlook is that the Zeta coin functions as a universal gas asset. And so as a user, you never have to get stuck on a chain or have issues getting assets over to an off ramp. You could basically have one wallet and one gas token, which enables you to experience any dApp on any network. Um, so I think those tech features are compelling. And then I really appreciate Hani's sentiment from the DSIG side, which is like beyond the technology of a chain, there are other things like ease of documentation and how easy it is to get support in the ecosystem and get connected with community. So we're equally focused on those things. And I would call that out. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for letting us know the unique features on Zeta Chain. And do we have any guest speakers who would like to represent your project to share? Yes, I see Ringgit, please.
Yeah, so I think thanks, Manoj, but one of the key sort of features from Zeta Chain is the ability to have omni-chain smart contracts. Now, what they enable for us are two things. One is having like a premium user experience. So, as sort of Jonathan brushed upon, right, that you wouldn't need to handle gas all the time on various chains. Now, that's already taken care of. And the second part is having the ability to bring native assets into a single pool. So using Zeta Chain's omni-chain smart contracts, what we are able to do at Eddy Finance is have a pool of native assets of BTC, Ether, Matic, all of them into a single multi-chain pool that comes from the same unified liquidity. So it helps us give more liquidity. We do not have to worry about syncing states, etc. While similarly, you can also have stable pools with different assets on different chains. So DAI from, let's say, Ethereum, or let's say USDC from Arbitrum can all exist into the same pool. And now you can build like cross-chain complex dApps on top of it. So I think these two things have been like things that have stood out for us in terms of implementing things on Zeta Chain.
That is great. Thank you so much, Ringgit. And do we have any other guest speakers who would like to use it? Yeah, Jimbo from Oliver's. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, I can encode that Omnichain smart contract really attracts us. There are more than one features that's very attractive for Zeta Chain. But I guess, generally speaking, Zeta Chain is pioneering in these full chain solutions, and we believe that through the cooperation that we can provide the highest scalability and wider accessibility for better user experiments, especially as a content creators. That's what we see ourselves, right? Our goal is always to bring more present and interesting game experiments to different users across different chains. That unique features allowing us to have a higher security and efficiency so that we can duplicate the same way or same game we may be successful already from another chance with that one solution. So yeah, we're very looking forward to that.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And do we have also Alex or Hani? Would you also like to share your thought as well? Thank you.
Sure, I can just echo what Jimbo said. For us, the most important thing is that thanks to Zeta Chain's omni-chain approach, we don't have to worry about bridging and messaging. So in our current solution, before the implementation on a Zeta Chain mainnet, there's always a trust assumption when a user has a credential on one chain. So let's say they have, for example, a proof of personhood on Polygon, and they want to use that proof of personhood or want to reuse that on an optimism chain or similar, there's a trust assumption that we as a service provider or us as an infrastructure provider do the right thing in bridging that credential. And in order to remove that trust assumption, we can just rely on an Omni SBT approach provided by Zeta Chain, in which if the user goes through the initial verification on a Zeta Chain wallet, they can seamlessly update this kind of credential in every single chain ecosystem that they're active in. And there is no trust assumption. It's really verifiably self-sovereign, and the retail user that has credentials does not need to worry that anything, fishy happens when they go from one ecosystem to another ecosystem. Users only have one identity, and it's super important that they don't rely on other parties in bridging the content of the credential. So we're super happy to be deploying on Zeta Chain, and this omni-chain approach is super important to us.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Alex, the founder of ZKMe. And next, we would also like to double check with Hani, the co-founder of DSIC, to see if you would like to share anything that you think are the unique features of the Zeta chain. Thank you.
Yeah, I would also like to just echo what everybody have said. Basically, the omni-chain approach has been super helpful because thanks to this, we could have a seamless management of assets across various chains, which I believe that none of the current multi-sig solution have like got something like that. We could let users like have all of these assets on different chains, and they can also transfer natively within the wallet without having to like go through another bridge option, or like they can directly use the wallet and use their assets on, let's say, on Ethereum, and buy something on Binance or like buy something on Polygon, and they don't have to like go and swap for another token. And it's really helpful in that kind of sense. And we're also figuring out how to build more aggregator within our wallet. So when you have a treasury on the multi-sig wallet, you can also get some profit out of it without risking too much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing about the unique features on Zeta chain that attract your projects to build on there. And just wanted to double check if Dennis, the head of developer experience, or Brandon, the head of product on Zeta chain, would also like to add any additional information, or should we go to the next topic?
Yeah, I just want to echo what Hani said about the wallet, the wallet situation. So basically, like, you build on Zeta chain, but then the end users don't really have to even have a wallet connected to Zeta chain, because they're calling your contract from a connected chain. So this really opens up possibilities on how to improve user experience, and Zeta chain offers this kind of infrastructure, right? But can completely remain behind the scenes from end users' point of view, which I think is very, very good, because at the end of the day, you don't really want your end users to really think too much about which blockchain they're working with, right? So the more a blockchain can provide useful services, but stay behind the scenes, I think the better.
Yes, Brandon, please. Thank you.
Quite well, better than I can. And I think just to summarize, reviewing what everyone just
Oh, sorry, Brandon, you're a little bit cutting off, so we cannot really hear you. Would you like to go to a place with a better Wi-Fi connection? Thank you.
We'll come back to him.
Definitely. Okay, we'll come back, circle back to you later because, well, the next topic is actually one of the hottest news in the Web3 space. As we all know, Zeta just raised 27 million from capital. What do you think about it? We'd like to hear from both sides as well. Who would like to jump into this topic first? Thank you.
We'll go full circle again. So, yeah, this is the stuff I suppose that turns heads in the space, and it's exciting. It's validating of the big picture vision that we're talking about and the execution so far. A lot of respectable institutions in crypto are behind Zeta Chain. Honestly, what I'm most proud of was Zeta Chain's ability to garner the level of attention and trust from the community when the funding piece was a gray area for a year and a half, and I think it shows the focus on delivery and technology speaks for itself. At the end of the day, proof in delivering good product and real utility is what the crypto space needs to move forward. I think all the builders on this call have that mindset and are doing exactly that with the various products they're building. And yeah, that's my thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing the views. And also, I already pinned our news from Zeta Chain's official Twitter handle. Friends, while you're listening to today's Twitter space, feel free to also click on our pinned tweet to read and learn more about each of our projects, and be sure to give all of our guest speakers and their project a follow as well. Also follow OKX Web3 and our OKX official Twitter handle. Both are, one is on the stage and the other is in the listening place over there. Be sure to follow all of us. Thank you so much. And next, we would like to ask anyone would like to jump in to talk about this hot topic. But Zeta Chain just raised 27 million from capital. Thank you. I see Jimbo flash your mic, please.
Yeah, I think it's
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Graham.
Yeah, Ringing, it's your turn. Thank you so much.
Hey, sorry, I lost you there. Did you speak something?
Oh, yes. Ringen from the co-founder of Addy Capital at Finance. It's your turn to share your thoughts about Zeta Chain.
Thanks, Moonlight. Yes. So basically, I think it's a great testament to the technology and also I think the whole ecosystem that Zeta Chain has developed. I think it's another step that sort of validates the um, whole concept and whole technology that Zeta Chain uses. I think it's another sort of wave that comes in and it'll draw a lot of developers as well as make the community stronger in terms of just people spreading the word out about what the technology has to offer and having like solid fundamentals to again build upon. I think events like these act as great levers to draw validation and also boost morale of the community, and likewise I think also draw a lot of attention to take the next sort of bigger hits and build more interesting stuff that's coming, I think, in the ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Ringen from Addy Finance, for sharing your views. And we are going to circle back to Jimbo from Oliver's to share your thought as well. Thank you.
Sure. Obviously, I would like to congratulate again. And this is always good news to hear our peer that successful raising some more fund is definitely the resource that needed to further develop and expand the platform. And meanwhile, I would say this is the pressure and people have high expectation that hoping to see the next milestone. We use the term accelerate a lot, but for this case, I would rather use the term so we have more time and have the patience to actually achieve what we expect to do. I'm looking forward to power with the Zeta Chain on this journey, and very exciting. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And Honey or Alex, would you also like to share your thought as well? Thank you.
Hey, so I just want to congratulate the Zeta Chain team again on successfully fundraising 27 millions. I think this is proof that the market is also interested in making interoperability possible for Web3, because I think interoperability is definitely the future that we're all looking at. Is a key driver that is shaping the future of the blockchain and Web3 right now. As different blockchains and networks continue to be born, the ability to seamlessly communicate and share data across these platforms will become essential, and also it will help unify the currently fragmented Web3. So I just think this is an amazing achievement and really looking forward to the future.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Honey. And Honey is a co-founder at DSIG. Thank you for sharing your thought. And how about Alex, the founder of ZKME? Would you like to share something as well? Thank you.
Sure. Not much to add from my side. I mean, it's further validation of the path and the vision that Zeta Chain has and has had for over a year now. User and community was already on board, and I think this is, as I said, further validation that the market is also starting to look into the benefits of Zeta Chain. And I just want to highlight what Jimbo said. So it's now, I think, up to the foundation and to the ecosystem, to our builders here in this call, to deploy and launch initiatives and launch campaigns that make that realize all of the benefits that we have been talking about. And I'm really confident. I don't know whether we will hit on this kind of topic in this call, but there are really, really exciting things coming up that I think very, very soon will show users and will show the industry how much of a game changer omni-chain smart contracts, omni-chain SBTs really are. And super excited for that.
Thank you so much, Alex. And as we all know, like right now, the market situation is going downward, right? So it is very difficult to raise even a little bit of capital. And so the amount, right, the 27 million from capital is definitely really, really amazing at this time point. And we would also like to circle back to our Zeta Chain team and friendly reminder to Brandon. It seems like you might want to try to log out and then come back into our Twitter space. We'll pull you up again because we could not see your mic on now, even though you're on the stage. So we are going to double check with Dennis, the head of developer experience from Zeta Chain, to see if you have any other thought that you would like to share about this topic. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this adds confidence to dApp builders and projects building on top of Zeta Chain, and contributes to the peace of mind to the community. Just generally lets builders focus on making Zeta Chain the best protocol for interop.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And next, we are going to go to topic number 5. For this turn, each of our guest speakers could talk about your project's next action and also some milestones or any stories that you like to share with the audience over here. So far, we have, over 250 audience over here listening to us. And I think during peak time, we have around 270 something. So friends, be sure to help us to share the link, and we're also already pinned the Twitter space link on the top of this Twitter space. If any of our audience have questions, please also feel free to post in the comments as well. I already see a lot of comments over here asking when mainnet, when token launch, right? Well, if there are any questions from the audience that our guest speaker think you can answer, please also feel free to do so as well. And next topic over here, we're going to come back to our discussion panel. We would like to ask our guest speakers to share your project's next action and also any amazing milestones or stories with us. Who would like to jump into this topic first? Thank you.
I can kick off. And first of all, thank you for the congratulatory words from everyone on the fundraise. It does set a high expectation for Zeta Chain, which I think is important, and that's really good responsibility to have. Yeah, I'm more interested in the spotlight being on community and dev ecosystem. So Alex mentioned some months ago we hit a critical threshold of community members, and like this week, or I suppose this month, it feels like we're hitting a tipping point on dev ecosystem. So a lot of companies deploying on testnet, but there are some more distinguished projects that are really innovating around cross-chain and using those capabilities that make Zeta Chain special. The 4 projects on this call are perfect examples. So just to summarize for listeners, we have ZK.me on the call, first Omnichain soulbound tokens, Eddy Finance, you can swap native BTC for other DeFi assets, Ultiverse doing a ton of cool stuff around chain abstraction across its portfolio of games, and then DSig, all sorts of DAO governance and vault use cases that span all chains. So before we launch, which Dennis and Brandon will speak more on, we really want to showcase these new use cases that are possible and have people experience it. And so we're planning to do something more organized, like a special campaign. And the call today, I think, is a good foreshadowing about what's to come. So that's one of the next actions on the project side. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing about the Zeta Chain's next plan and also some amazing milestones with us. And over here, we would like to ask if any of our guest speakers would like to jump in. Let's just say, free discussion. If you think you're ready, be sure to flash your mic or open your mic. Yes, Alex from the founder of ZK.me, please.
Yeah, so as an identity oracle, we always aim and strive to provide new use cases to our retail users. So as some of you might know, we started with the more financial aspect of identity. We launched the world's first zero-knowledge KYC solution, I think 1.5 months ago, then expanded into zero-knowledge geofencing capabilities. And one of the things that we will do next is to expand into social and gaming as well, to provide gaming identities, social identities that do not disclose private data, but are still useful both to the D app that provides the service to the user and for the user to have like one centralized place from which to manage their identity across ecosystems. So for us, we were eagerly waiting for Zeta Chain to go live, to underpin everything that I just mentioned within an Omni SPT. But in the meantime, we're also working on providing additional features, new credentials, and there's going to be some exciting new things coming up. So I'm inviting everyone that is listening in to either try our solution at app.zk.me or just follow us on @zkme_ for all of the updates coming in the next couple of months.
That is exactly true. Yeah, everyone, while you are listening to today's series, be sure to also follow our guest speakers and their products, as well as try their products, because this is really important, and that's the purpose of us listening and learning all here together, right? Thank you for mentioning that, Alex. And next, we'd like to see if any guest speakers would like to try. Yes, I see Jimmy from Oliver's. Flash your mic, please.
Sure, thanks, Moonlight. For Ultiverse, we will continuing unveil various games across different channels while introducing a diverse casual gaming experience to our users. We hope that with the enhanced infrastructures, our goal can, as always, to offer a seamless transition for users migrating from Web 2 to Web 3. By saying that, obviously, I hope the omnichannel solution will come out quicker so that we have more time to try different things. We will also explore more on the fully on-chain games. Hopefully, we'll have more announcements soon. But at the same time, we will amplify our media matrix and also the metaverse experiments with our ecosystem holders. Yes, that's Ultiverse. That's us.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. And Jimmy is the co-founder at Oliver's. Next, we also like to check if Hani, the co-founder at DeSig, or Ringang, the co-founder at Edifinance, would like to share any of your new updates as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Moonlight. So, at Edifinance, I think you might recall, I think we launched about 10 days back our waitlist, and we made it public. And I think we got an overwhelming response of over 100K people joining that. This week, we have started a phased rollout where you can just go to the DApp, and if you're whitelisted, you can now transfer, move across chains, EVM chains, as well as you can now send your testnet BTC and swap it out for, let's say, Gold ETH. So we have that live, and we have built out a rewards program where you can now go play on the testnet and earn reward points. So this is what we've been like up to this week. In the upcoming weeks, we are also launching pools which can help you gain good yields on the native assets that you deposit. And if anyone who's listening in wants to try the app out on the testnet, please just head out to app.edi.finance and stay connected to us via Twitter, and maybe join the community to stay updated with all the updates and fun campaigns coming your way.
That is exactly true. Thank you. And Ringang, if the Edifinance official Twitter handle would like to come up to the stage, please feel free to do so, so our audience can give it a follow as well. And next, we would also like to go to Hani from the co-founder of DeSig to also share your project's plan. Thank you.
Thank you. So DeSig is gearing up for an exciting phase ahead. We have just redone all the UI of the wallet. Is now more smooth, and so it's really easy to use. And since we're already live, you guys can already go up and create a multi-sig wallet up there. It can be a one-of-one wallet, which can be used for personal reasons, or it can be like a 2 out of 3 or any kind of threshold that you would like to create. And also we're going to introduce a cross-chain swap feature powered by Zeta chain. This will allow users to exchange assets across different chains, and like you will get to really experience what a multi-chain multi-sig will be like. And also we're planning to join the activation campaign that Zeta chain already mentioned. We also invite all the users here, everybody who is listening, to join us and share their valuable feedback as we grow the Zeta chain community together. And lastly, we're really focusing on developing new features around Zeta chain technology. We're looking at a lot of exciting stuff, and if you would like to just know what we're up to, know our updates, maybe can give us a follow and give every project here a follow as well.
Thank you so much, Hani, for sharing the information with us. And we would also like to double check with our guest speakers from Zeta chain. Dennis and Brandon, would you like to provide any additional information from developer or product side about Zeta chain's next action? Thank you.
Yeah, from developer experience point of view, want to make sure that it's super easy for developers to get started. Right now,
can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Brandon, can you hear Dennis as well?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna omit myself. I'll let Dennis speak.
Thanks. Yeah, so as I was saying, making sure that it's possible for developers to create omni-chain contracts with just a single command, get all the information they need tracking cross-chain transactions, getting information about fees, all of these things, just to ensure that overall the developer experience is top-notch and you don't have any barriers to get up and running with Zeta Chain development.
That is great. Thank you so much, Dennis, for sharing from the developer experience side. And also, yes, microphone goes to you, Brendan. Can you hear us? Thank you. Let me double check. Seems like maybe we need to send a message to Brendan for him to check his connection, but that's okay. We still have time to talk more topics over here. Next, we are going to go from a technical perspective. What's the significance of standardized interoperability? And anyone would like to jump into this topic? This is more like a techie part, right? Who would like to?
I'll go high level. And yeah, Brandon's in a WeWork, unfortunately, bad Wi-Fi. So yeah, I think with standardized interoperability, if the market accepts the proposition of Zeta Chain and the concept of omni-chain smart contract, then maybe the significance is on par with something like TCP/IP in the early internet, like becomes a standard where everyone is on the same page. And it's not to say that there's going to be one blockchain that rules them all. I actually think if we have standardized interoperability, then it promotes free exploration of lots of different blockchains and dApps on those networks. But the standard gives devs and users freedom to build on blockchains, on different blockchains, and have that sort of optionality. So I think standardized interoperability is needed to drive mass adoption, and it's going to make everything work everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing the information with us. And the person behind Zeta Chain's official Twitter handle is Jonathan, and he's head of the community at Zeta Chain. And next, we would like to see if any of our guest speakers would like to answer this question as well from a technical perspective. What's the significance of standardized interoperability? This is definitely not an easy topic, right? So no worries if no one would like to answer this question, that's okay. Yeah, we can skip this. No pressure. Let's go to topic number 7, and also over this question, Jonathan, you got 100 score. Okay, the question number 7 over here. What blocks do you think of in the current Web3 industry? Anyone would like to jump into this topic as well?
Just to clarify, Moonlight, you mean blocks as in blockers, right? Like restrictions for further mass adoption?
Well, or maybe we could say what is the current stage that you think in current Web3 industry? Like, what is the stage that we are? Well, for me, I would say it's still in the infancy stage, right? We're still early and there are still things that need to be improved. So just like that. Feel free to use your own viewpoint to answer this question. There's no 100% correct answers to any of the questions. Thank you.
Yeah, then maybe I go first just because I might have like a very direct opinion. I think crypto in general, like Web3 or decentralized applications, are currently going through a valley of despair, which is typical, I would say, for a technology that has gone through a hype cycle previously. And I personally believe in order to get out of this valley of despair and get to a plateau of productivity, we're going to need 3 different things. And I think maybe this ties back to the importance also of standardized interoperability, because you need a solution that is scalable, private, and has good user experience. And in the past, applications have had some issues in one of these 3. So either they have not been really scalable, have not really been private, or have not really been really user-friendly. And at the moment, with the capabilities of Zeta Chain to not have to worry about certain things of security, bridging mechanisms, and potentially also some of the scalability issues. dApps, builders like us at ZKMe, we can focus on the more user experience and the privacy aspect. And I believe now that zero knowledge has matured, we have modular blockchains, we have interoperability standards. We will be able to put all of these things together to build a solution that is truly superior to centralized applications. And I'm probably very, very optimistic. I believe in a very short time, we will see real adoption, because the use cases that we're building typically already exist in Web 2, but they will be so much better in Web 3 that users will just be convinced by the utility rather than the promise of future returns. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I believe will be the next cycle.
Nice. Thank you so much, Alex, the founder of ZKMe, for sharing your view in terms of what stage what blocks or what stage you think of the in the current Web3 industry. And any other guest speakers who would like to share your thoughts as well. This is totally personal opinion, so no worries. And if no others, we can skip this one and go to the next.
I'll share.
Yeah, Ringang, jump in. Yes.
Yeah. So user verification, preventing bot spam accounts is big. The stuff that ZKMe is doing with Ultiverse, actually making crypto engaging and fun with the games that they're building, will bring more people in. I could go on about the projects on this call. I think one thing to also point out is that the millennial and Gen Z cohorts, it doesn't seem that there's really high adoption and familiarity with crypto in those segments, which I think is problematic because these people grow up with technology, and I think it's a branding issue. So at Zeta Chain, we're trying to have a more accessible brand, and we say bring crypto back down to earth and make it familiar and get rid of the cosmic rocket ships and that sort of imagery. I think also the world is still dominated by corporate networks, and there's a whole long list of reasons governments and corporate executives fear moving on chain. I think it's going to start from the bottom, and when people experience the benefits of crypto, they'll realize that this is a better way. So, those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing your thought with us. And Jonathan is the head of community at Zeta Chain. And we also, so that Ringang share, flash your mic, right? Ringang is the co-founder at Addy Finance. Would you like to open your mic and share your thought as well? Thank you.
Thanks. So pretty much aligned with what Alex and Jonathan sort of shared, right? That today, we are probably quite early and in infancy. I think from a user perspective, or if you pick up any folk who's trying to get into Web3, I think the user experience complication sort of plays a big role from them becoming like a true Web3 native person, right? I think from the first step, which is you creating a non-custodial wallet, to having its seed phrase, to keeping it secure, to even, let's say, games, right? What Jonathan mentioned, if you're trying to play a game, nobody wants to go through the whole process of first buying a crypto, topping it up into a wallet, and then playing it. I think there are a lot of user experience blockers, maintaining gas fees tokens, maintaining probably 5 different wallets for different chains, and then even more complicated is moving across them. So I think user experience today seems like a decent blocker for a lot of mass adoption. And I think there have been steps that are moving towards it. I think with what every project on this call is building, and Zeta Chain sort of connecting everything and creating a layer that can sort of bring this user experience gap closer to what there is in Web 2, familiarize users, and then eventually get them into a more utility based ecosystem rather than the promises of just building more value later on in terms of the rise that goes through in the crypto market. I think this utilitarian standpoint is being sort of started, and I think this is what will take the Web3 mass adoption to the next level.
That is brilliant. Thank you so much, Ringen, for sharing the information with us as well. And next, we would like to double check if any of our guest speakers would like to jump into this question. What stage or what block do you think of in the current Web3 industry? Thank you. If not, let's go to our next and also very last question. Wow, we can't believe, but time flies by so quickly. I've been here for about an hour. And friends, before we go to our very last question, once again, friend, reminder of our audience, be sure to give our guest speakers and their project a follow. Over here, we have Zeta Chen, ZK Me, DSIG, and Audivers, and also see Addy Finance official Twitter handle in the listeners space. If you would like to raise your hand and come up to the stage, welcome to do so as well. The very last question we would like to ask our guest speakers is, please share with us your predictions for the coming 2 years of Web3 industry development. This is going to be a very interesting question because we are very eager to learn from our guest speakers. What do you think will happen for the coming 2 years in our Web3 space? This is totally personal opinions, so no worry. Yes, I see Alex Lee, founder of ZK. Flash your mic, please.
Yeah, I just had to chuckle. Like forecasting 2 years in our industry is going to be really, really difficult. But I think there are some trends, right, that we observe and that we can extrapolate to think about how the future of the industry might look like. And I think one of the most important trends is going to be the fragmentation. Might sound negative, but I don't mean it as a negative, of chains. Like we will see more and more custom built, maybe even dApp specific chains pop up because the technical barrier to build new chains is decreasing by the day. So I believe approaches like the approach of Zeta Chain are going to become more and more important. There's going to be a future of like not a multiverse like in Marvel, but it's going to be a multiverse of chain ecosystems out there, and you're going to have this this magic portal that brings you from one ecosystem to another without any trust assumptions and without any security issues. That's why I'm super bullish on what we are building. At ZKMe, having an identity oracle that allows you to have credentials on every single of these chain ecosystems, and for approaches like Zeta Chain that allows you to bridge between these chains natively.
Yeah, I feel like Dennis shares a similar outlook to that that you've talked about in the past. Dennis, any comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, as an industry, I think the industry needs to answer the question how to scale all of this to be able to handle millions, potentially billions of transactions. And I strongly believe in the idea that more and more dApps will be implemented as sovereign chains. They don't have to necessarily all be sovereign. They can share security, similar to how some ecosystems are doing it right now. And Zeta Chain is, of course, critical to answering this scalability question, because all of these chains will have to talk to each other. And it's also important from, as I mentioned earlier, from the user experience point of view, because you wouldn't want to have to talk to. I mean, as a user, you wouldn't want to have accounts on all the chains, right? You need a way to be able to make cross-chain calls easier, right? So yeah, I think Zeta Chain is tackling both the scalability question and the UX question.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I would also like to double check with Honey and Jimbo from our DSIG and Auditors to see if you have any thought. Yes, Jimmy, please.
Yeah, actually, I kind of missed the previous question talking about the blocks. So again, I'm gonna just combine the two things together. Thanks for all the sharing from the other guest speakers, which I believe cover majority of what I want to share with you guys. All these blocks are the opportunities, and I think 2 years is too short as a term to looking forward. I would say in the next 5 to 10 years, we're on the right trend. It's just a matter of how we make the progress. I think right now we heard this news about the regulations, and we heard the challenge we have for max adoptions because the user experiments, all these things. I totally agree. At the same time, I see the crypto is very what we call cyclical. We just add this cycle that majority of, especially our builders, doing the practical things silently. So after we through this cycle, the next wave will be huge. It's just like we describe the spring up like a ring. So at the end of the day, we just continue to build and continue making small progress. And actions always more important than words. It's an honor to part with the peers in this group. Yeah.
That is great. Thank you for answering 2 questions in one as well. And next, I also see Honey, the co-founder of DSIG. Yeah. Also, yeah. Fletcher, Mike, would you like to share your thought as well? Thank you.
So I would just like to echo on everybody's answers earlier. And I also have I think this is my personal optimistic outlook for Web3 in general. I just think that the next wave will get us really closer to mass adoption. We've seen many positive news that complements this already. We've seen new Euro stablecoins. We've seen more brands collaborating with NFT projects. We've seen a lot more on and off ramp solutions on the space. And I think that if we can get this space to be just a little bit less fragmented, just to be a little bit more secured, then definitely we can get more users. We can get more people into this space with us. And I also think that with the mutual the mutual vibe that we have here, that everybody is trying to be more friendly, more open to users in general, I think that we have a very bright outlook for the future.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, we have very bright future ahead of us. And we wanted to double check if we have any guest speakers who would like to provide any additional information for any of our previous questions. From our question 2 to 8 over here, feel free to open your mic and share as well. And we also know that actually all of the projects that are building on Zeta Chain, and also over here, right, at our True Space here today, you also have some products that already integrate with OKX Web3 wallets. Thank you so much for supporting our projects over here, and we do hope that all of our guests could come back to our Tour Space again to talk more about your products and OKX Web3 wallets next time. Okay, and yeah, to let our OKX Web3 users know that how we could use your products and learn more about these. That would be great. Thank you so much. And to be say that we already have our tour space for over an hour. Can't believe that. In a short 1 hour, we have covered 8 topics. Once again, we appreciate all of our guest speakers from Zeta Chain, ZKMe, DSIG, Addy Finance, and Audibers for joining us today. We also very honored to have you over here, and also remind of our audience, be sure to give them all a follow guest speakers, their project, also follow our organizers, OKX Web3, as well as our OKX official Twitter handle there on stage and also in the audience. Thank you. And do our guest speakers each of you wanted to share a sentence to wrap up this tour space session? Should we start from Jonathan, please?
Yeah, thank you for hosting again, Moonlight, and everyone joining. Very well said from everyone about future predictions. I also am optimistic, and it's genuine builders like everyone on this panel that's going to have a really positive impact on the space. So excited to keep collaborating. Thanks.
Yes, that's definitely keep collaborating. And how about for the very final word? Let's still follow our order. That might be easier. And how about Dennis? Would you also like to share any information before we wrap up the session? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm truly excited to see more and more projects building on Zeta Chain, and it's also very useful for us to get feedback from developers. So I'm super pumped about that. This lets us improve and prepare even better for mainnet to ensure that developer experience of Zeta Chain is top notch.
That is great. Thank you so much, Dennis. And Dennis is the head of developer experience at Zeta Chain. And next, we would also like to bring microphone to Alex. He's a founder at ZKMe to share some final words before we end this session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Great hosting, Moonlight. Looking forward to come back. So just one thing from my side. I fully agree what has been said before. It's really important for us as an industry to come together and cooperate. There was some mention of regulation coming, and there's like really big things going to happen in the next 2 years. So it's really important for us as an industry to be proactive and think how we can approach challenges such as interoperability, cross-chain communication, but also regulatory compliance. And I'm just want to say one open invite to everyone that is listening. If you have any issues with identity or cross-chain identity, please feel free to reach out. Always happy to think of new use cases and think of how we can support whatever requirements you have. So thank you again for having us.
Amazing. Thank you. Yes, and everyone, if you would like to reach out to any of the guest speakers on the project, feel free to send message or post your comments. Thank you so much. And next, we would like to bring my phone to Regank from co-founder of Addy Finance to also share additional information that we have not covered yet. Thank you.
Thanks, Moonlight. Thanks for being such a great host and having us here on this panel, everyone, and sharing your opinions. I think I agree with what everyone has been talking about. I think in the phase probably in the next 2 years where we see a lot of app chains and a lot of other chains come up and fragmentation becomes an issue, make them function like a single unit. So super stoked for and super optimistic on what the future holds. And happy to be here with a lot of builders and give back a lot of value to the community. Again, if you have any doubts or anything that you have to do with movement of funds across chains, please feel free to ping us on Twitter or just play around with the app. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Regan. And very happy to see that we have a lot of builders right now in the Web3 space. And next, we would like to bring my phone to Jimmy, the co-founder of Oliver's, to also conclude today's AMA session. Thank you.
Thank you, Moonlight. Thanks everyone for coming. I think there are many things we cannot control outside, but we can always control ourselves inside. So for Ultiverse, we are building a metaverse, but metaverse is not just one word, not one solution. It's an open metaverse that need everyone to be part of it. Just like we're building here today, talking about the multi-chain solutions. So I'm looking forward to work with you all, especially not just infrastructure, but also game-wise. If you have great content, we're happy to be part of the distribution team, and looking forward to the what coming next.
That is amazing. Yes, if any of our guest speakers, your project team, or any of our audience, if you have a project and you would like to collaborate any of the guest speakers project over here, feel free to reach out as well. And next, we also would like to present the microphone to Hani, the co-founder at DSIC, to summarize today's space. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Moonlight, again for the amazing session. And I'm very honored to be here with all of the teams here today, with Zeta Chain, with OKX, with Altiverse, DKMe, Eddie Finance, and everyone who's listening. I'm super excited for all upcoming activities and product development from everybody here. And would just like to remind everybody that please make sure to follow our projects participating and expect amazing news from us. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a great night for me.
That is great. Wow, honey, I'm not sure what time is it right now because we are from probably 6 different time zones. Yes, over here. I guess, yeah, maybe it's around 1 a.m. over there. Oh my, if that would be very, very late night, and appreciate everyone for being here. I'm looking in Taipei right now. So yeah, it's 1:18 a.m. However, I'm very excited because I have learned a lot from each of our guest speakers today, and definitely we will listen to the replay of today's AMA because there are a lot of things that covered today that everyone, this is worth replay for so many times. So welcome to come back. And also we would like to let all of our guest speakers and audience know that OKX Web3, we host Tour Space every week. Normally we do it on Fridays, but sometimes we do it maybe on Wednesdays also. And if you have a great project that you'd like to join us, and also, yeah, if your project like, integrate with OKX Web3 wallet, that would be welcome. Very welcome, yeah, to join our Tour Space. And again, thank you all so much for your participation. We would like to conclude this Tour Space with a big thank you and shout out to all the builders on the Zeta Chain ecosystem. Listen, Moonlight, I'm done speaking. We're looking forward to seeing you all next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Take